about Pearl Harbor. For now, I'm Jeff Flock, CNN, reporting live from Pearl Harbor.
Jeff, thank you. Japanese warplanes pounded the USS Utah during the attack on Pearl Harbor, destroying the vessel. It is now one of 2 battleships resting intact on the bottom of the harbor. CNN's Jeff Flock is standing by and has more on the saga of the Utah. Jeff.
Susan, some people have forgotten the Utah. Today is a day we remember. The sun is now setting on the Utah at this hour in Pearl Harbor, about 20-some minutes past 5 local time here in Honolulu on Oahu. The sun setting perhaps poignantly on the Utah today, the forgotten ship, the ghost ship that some called it. Today we are remembering the Utah and remembering those who are still entombed on this ship. This is a plaque on the U.S. Utah Memorial Alive. Look at that plaque. On it, we move down to reveal the names of those 54 men whose remains remain on the Utah to this day. It is, in fact, a war grave. We are fortunate enough to be with some men who are fortunate enough not to be on that plaque, but who knew very many men on the plaque. We go now beneath the surface. These pictures are among the first live pictures ever presented of the bottom of Pearl Harbor. This is the bottom of the Utah. This is the Utah that now sits on the bottom, and this is what it looks like down there. We are with a man who miraculously spent time beneath the waves and got out. Jack Vaessen is standing by with us now, and he was on that ship when it capsized, and you managed to make your way up through the ship, up to reach the hull, and were miraculously freed. It's an amazing story.
That's true.
How did it happen? How did you survive?
Well, I use this wrench.
That's right. You brought the wrench with you. It's amazing. Bruce, let's go ahead and show that wrench. This is the very wrench that you tapped on the hull with.
For many hours. And I also had this flashlight, which I had the job between taking readings on the main switchboard, changing the batteries, and these belong to the repair kits. Make sure there's enough friction tape, fuse pullers, and those kind of things, and this was what I was doing.
Amazing. We've got some pictures of that ship on that day. This obviously is the ship today, but we've got some old pictures, some old black and white pictures of the ship, perhaps as you better remember it. This was the hull. You came out of there somewhere.
Yeah, around frame 90 is what I was told.
What were you doing? Were you not trying to get off the ship? Did you not know it was going to capsize?
I was keeping the lights burning as long as I could, and the generator was slowing down, so I would cut out the power so that there was some kind of lights on the ship. I didn't know they were going to go completely out.
Your citation says you're a hero.
Well, that's an opinion.
Jack Vaessen, thank you very much.
All right, thank you.
This that you see now is, this is a stairwell that leads down, well, inside the ship, and that is where the remains of the 54 men remain. Dan Lenihan wrote the book on the Utah and has surveyed this many times, diving on it. You don't go inside, do you?
No. You know, those of us with the Park Service and the Navy that have had the privilege of working on this vessel, on this site, it's very much like diving into history. And we feel that although our mission really involves our working on the outside of the ship, we have no interest and no reason to really invade the sanctity of the vessel itself. We consider it a war grave.
Okay. Carl Johnson is over here, a man who has friends still below. You're a fortunate man to have escaped.
That's right.
How did you do it?
Well, I was down on 2 decks down. After the torpedoes hit, I had to go up a ladder, aft up another ladder, aft, came up topside, back beyond that air castle that you see out there. And I went over the high side of the ship. By this time, it was already listing so much that I walked like a dog would on my hands and feet.
Now, we have a picture that depicts the Utah. I suppose it's the very last picture of the Utah still afloat. There you see it. Amazing shot.
Yes. That's probably my lifeboat that's right down by that after key where that after line is coming over where it hasn't parted yet. That's the lifeboat that I got in, a 26-foot motor whaleboat, and started picking up survivors.
Carl, you were a pointer on one of the 5-inch guns, were you not? Perhaps, I don't know, Pete, if we can see underneath again, if we have a picture there, as Steve Hammersmith, our diver, makes his way across to the gun, the very gun. We're going to be able to see the very gun you worked on, that you operated. Is that right?
Good heavens, yes. It was.
This is the gun barrel.
One of the
barrel
two
right
after
there.
guns. Doesn't look like the gun as I knew it, I'll tell you that.
Larry Murphy's with us. Larry, shed some light on that for us, will you?
What we're seeing is portions of the 5-inch 38 caliber gun underwater that Mr. Johnson was a pointer on, and we just saw the barrel go by, and we were looking in the inside of the housing, and then the breech mechanism where he would have sat when he was operating this particular gun.
Before we get away, Steve Hammersmith is the man who has been operating that camera below all day. Steve, we've set up an audio hookup with Steve Hammersmith, and I'm interested to get, Steve, your thoughts quickly on your experience down below there today. Steve? Steve, if you can hear me, Jeff Locke up top,
it's been really incredible
your impression?
to be able to dive on this magnificent wreck. The feelings involved are really mixed from all of the crew. It's really an emotional experience.
Steve Hammersmith, thank you. Appreciate your thoughts. We're going to talk to him later in about 2 hours' time. Come back. We will remain here at Pearl Harbor throughout the week, bringing you a picture of just what went on here 50 years ago and what it all looks like today. For now, I'm Jeff Locke, CNN, reporting live from Pearl Harbor.
The bodies of 58 sailors remain inside one of the first modern U.S. battleships sunk that day. CNN's Jeff Locke is at the wreck of the